Welcome to the John Coin Shop. A simple coin in your hand could be hiding a secret worth millions. Kennedy half dollars from different years have shocked collectors with rare errors, perfect grades, and hidden varieties that turned ordinary change into life-changing treasures. Most people ignore them, but a single rare detail can transform value overnight. What looks like pocket money might actually be a forgotten fortune waiting to be discovered in today's coin market. First up, the Kennedy half dollar has always carried a powerful emotional and historical weight in American coinage, but when people hear about a 1972 Kennedy half dollar worth millions, it often mixes reality with imagination. In truth, most 1972 pieces are common circulation coins, yet the story behind them and the rare exceptions make this coin one of the most discussed modern half dollars among collectors. Its value does not come from ordinary examples, but from extraordinary mint errors, high-grade preservation, and special varieties that survive in almost perfect condition. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The United States Mint released it as a tribute, and the public instantly connected with it. By 1972, the design had already gone through several changes in metal composition and production style due to rising silver costs. The 1972 version was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it no longer contained significant silver like earlier issues. This change alone already makes it different in the eyes of collectors who chase earlier silver-rich coins. In normal circulation, a 1972 Kennedy half dollar is not rare. Millions were produced across Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of these coins still exist today in average circulated condition and typically hold only face value or a small premium. However, the coin world is not just about numbers produced. It is about condition, strike quality, and rare mint mistakes that occasionally slip through quality control. When collectors talk about extremely high-value coins, they are often referring to perfect condition specimens known as MS67, MS68, or even higher on the grading scale. A 1972 Kennedy half dollar in such flawless condition is extremely rare because these coins were used in circulation and not carefully preserved at the time. If a coin survived without scratches, wear, or contact marks, its value increases dramatically, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars, but still not realistically millions in standard market conditions. The real excitement begins when discussing mint errors. Some 1972 Kennedy half dollars have been discovered with unusual striking mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, or missing design elements. These errors occur when something goes wrong during production at the mint. While these coins can be highly valuable, even the rarest documented examples typically reach hundreds or a few $1,000s depending on severity and demand, not the fantasy-level millions often claimed in viral stories. Collectors also look at proof versions of the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, which were specially made for collectors rather than circulation. These proof coins have mirror-like surfaces and sharper details. If preserved in perfect PR70 condition, they are considered top-tier collectibles. Even then, their value remains within the high collectible range, but still grounded in real-world numismatic pricing rather than unrealistic fortune claims. Part of the myth around million-dollar coins comes from misunderstanding how coin grading and auctions work. Occasionally, extremely unique historical coins, often ancient or one-of-a-kind mint errors from early American history, do sell for huge amounts. However, modern coins like the 1972 Kennedy half dollar simply do not exist in that same ultra-rare category. Even the best-known sales of Kennedy half dollars have not crossed into million-dollar territory. The design itself, created by Gilroy Roberts, obverse, and Frank Gasparo, reverse, adds artistic value. The portrait of Kennedy remains one of the most iconic images in American numismatics. This emotional and historical appeal is why collectors continue to chase high-grade examples, even when the monetary value is not life-changing. The coin represents memory, legacy, and a period of transition in U.S. currency history. Market value is always shaped by demand, rarity, and condition. For the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, demand exists but rarity in extreme form is limited. This means while certain specimens can sell for impressive sums, the idea of becoming a billionaire overnight from this coin is not realistic. Coin collecting is a long-term hobby of patience and knowledge, rather than sudden wealth. Still, the fascination continues because people love the idea of hidden treasure in everyday pockets. Many coins from the 20th century still circulate in collections, drawers, and old jars, waiting to be discovered. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar often becomes part of this treasure-hunting imagination, even if most examples are modest in value. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a huge role in determining the true worth of any coin. Without official grading, even a potentially valuable coin might be underestimated. With grading, the exact condition is certified, and collectors can understand its true market position. For the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, grading is essential to separate ordinary pieces from premium-quality collectibles. The coin market is also influenced by trends and collector enthusiasm. Sometimes interest spikes due to viral videos or misinformation, leading people to believe common coins are extremely rare. This is why education in numismatics is important. Real value is always backed by verified rarity and auction history, not speculation or internet hype. Even though the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is not a hidden millionaire maker, it still holds strong cultural importance. It represents a shift in U.S. coinage from silver to clad composition and continues the legacy of one of America's most respected presidents. Its historical role gives it meaning beyond just metal value. In conclusion, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is a fascinating collectible, especially in high-grade or rarer forms, but it is not a guaranteed path to unimaginable wealth. Its true worth lies in history, preservation, and collector interest rather than fantasy-level million-dollar claims. Understanding this balance helps collectors appreciate the coin for what it truly is, a meaningful piece of American numismatic history rather than a shortcut to instant fortune. Second up, the 1986 Kennedy half-dollar is often dragged into viral stories about million-dollar coins, but the truth is very different from the internet myths. This coin does not belong to the era of silver half-dollars, nor does it carry any hidden trillion-level rarity. Instead, it sits in a modern phase of U.S. coinage where production was high and metal composition was standard copper-nickel. Still, its story becomes interesting when people start searching for extreme condition examples and rare mint anomalies. By 1986, the Kennedy half-dollar had already moved far away from its original 1964 silver legacy. The emotional connection to President John F. Kennedy still remained strong, but the coin itself had become less common in everyday circulation. Most people simply did not use half-dollars anymore, which made 1986 coins more like storage pieces from the mint rather than heavily circulated currency. The 1986 issue was produced primarily for collectors and mint sets rather than for heavy circulation. This already creates a different situation compared to earlier decades. Coins that are specially packaged from the mint often survive in better condition, which gives collectors a chance to find high-grade specimens. However, even perfect condition examples still follow realistic market values, not fantasy million-dollar figures. The design of the coin still carries deep respect. The portrait of Kennedy on the front remains one of the most recognizable faces in American coinage history. It represents a moment frozen in time, a national tribute that has lasted for decades. The reverse eagle design continues to symbolize strength and unity, making the coin visually powerful even if its metal value is modest. When people talk about rare 1986 Kennedy half-dollars, they are usually referring to coins with exceptional mint state grades or unusual mint errors. These might include double strikes, off-center impressions, or unusual surface anomalies created during production. Such errors can increase collector interest, but they do not magically transform the coin into a million-dollar artifact. A major misunderstanding in the coin world comes from mixing rarity with hype. Just because a coin is old or part of a famous series does not mean it automatically becomes extremely valuable. The 1986 Kennedy half-dollar was produced in relatively large collector quantities, which means true scarcity is very limited. Real scarcity is what drives extreme value, not just age or popularity. Even coins graded in top condition, such as MS-67 or MS-68, are valued based on collector demand. These coins can be desirable, especially for registry sets, but their value remains within a realistic range. The idea that a 1986 Kennedy half-dollar could turn someone into a billionaire overnight belongs more to internet storytelling than actual numismatic records. Still, the fascination exists because collectors are always chasing perfection. A coin that looks flawless under magnification, with sharp strikes and no visible marks, feels special. In that sense, a 1986 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine condition becomes more of an art object than everyday money. That emotional perception often gets confused with extreme monetary worth. Another important aspect is the mint set origin. Many 1986 Kennedy half dollars come from official U.S. mint sets, meaning they were never meant to circulate heavily. This gives them a preserved by default advantage. However, preservation alone does not guarantee extreme rarity. It simply ensures survival in better shape compared to pocket change coins. The coin market also reacts strongly to stories and rumors. Sometimes videos and posts exaggerate the value of modern coins to attract attention. This is where misconceptions about million-dollar Kennedy half dollars often begin. In reality, serious collectors and grading services base value on verified auction results and population reports, not viral claims. Professional grading companies examine these coins under strict conditions. They look at strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. Even when a 1986 Kennedy half dollar scores very high on grading scales, its price remains grounded in collector economics rather than fantasy wealth figures. What makes the Kennedy half dollar series interesting overall is not sudden wealth potential, but historical continuity. From silver beginnings to clad transitions, each year tells a different part of America's economic story. The 1986 coin represents a modern phase where the coin became more symbolic than functional. So while stories may claim that a single coin could change a life overnight, the reality is more balanced. The 1986 Kennedy half dollar can absolutely be a nice collectible, especially in top condition or with rare mint errors, but it is not a hidden lottery ticket waiting to create instant billionaires. In the end, its real value lies in patience, history, and collector appreciation. It is a reminder that not every coin in your hand is a treasure chest, but every coin still carries a piece of history worth understanding. Third up, the 1998 Kennedy half dollar is often pulled into dramatic stories about hidden million-dollar coins, but the real history of this coin is much more grounded in modern U.S. mint production than in instant fortune fantasies. By 1998, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer a circulating, everyday coin. Instead, it had become a collector-focused issue, produced mainly for mint and proof sets rather than general commerce. This shift in purpose is important because it completely changes how we understand its value. Coins made primarily for collectors are usually produced with higher care, but also in predictable numbers. That means they are not truly rare in the sense that creates massive market explosions. The 1998 Kennedy half dollar exists in many preserve examples, which naturally limits extreme scarcity. The design still carries the same emotional weight it has held since 1964. President John F. Kennedy's portrait remains one of the most iconic images in American numismatics, symbolizing legacy, leadership, and national memory. Even in modern years like 1998, the coin continues that tribute, making it historically meaningful even when its monetary value stays modest. Most 1998 Kennedy half dollars were issued in mint sets and proof sets, which means they often survived in excellent condition straight from production. These coins usually show sharp details, mirror-like finishes in proofs, and clean surfaces in mint state versions. However, excellent condition does not automatically translate into extreme financial value. The internet sometimes exaggerates the value of modern coins by mixing up rare historical pieces with common modern issues. The truth is that the 1998 Kennedy half dollar does not belong to the category of legendary rarities that sell for millions. Instead, it belongs to a stable, well-documented modern series where values are measured in collector premiums rather than life-changing fortunes. Where some excitement does exist is in high-grade certified examples. Coins graded at top levels like MS67, MS68, or PR69 can attract collector interest, especially from registry set builders who want the finest known examples. These coins can sell for higher than face value, but still within realistic collector market boundaries. Occasionally, mint errors can appear in 1998 Kennedy half dollars, such as minor striking misalignments or unusual surface marks caused during production. These errors can increase curiosity and sometimes raise value compared to standard examples. However, even notable errors from this year remain within collectible ranges rather than reaching extreme wealth figures. The key misunderstanding comes from confusing rare in circulation with rare in existence. The 1998 Kennedy half dollar was never heavily used in daily transactions. So many surviving pieces exist in near-new condition. This abundance of preserved coins prevents the kind of scarcity needed for extreme million-dollar valuations. Another important factor is grading authority. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on strict criteria, including strike sharpness, luster quality, and surface preservation. Even when a coin achieves a high grade, its value is still determined by market demand, not emotional hype or viral claims. In reality, the most valuable Kennedy half dollars are usually from earlier years, especially silver issues from the 1960s or rare mint errors from transitional periods. Compared to those, the 1998 coin is relatively modern and stable in supply, making it far less likely to reach extraordinary price levels. Still, collectors appreciate the 1998 Kennedy half dollar for what it represents, the continuation of a long-standing American coin series into the modern era. It reflects how U.S. coinage evolved into a collector-driven system where historical tribute remains even when everyday usage declines. The idea that any single modern half dollar could instantly create wealth is more myth than market reality. While coin collecting can be profitable when dealing with genuinely rare specimens, most modern issues like the 1998 Kennedy half dollar remain accessible and affordable. Its real worth is found not in fantasy million-dollar claims, but its place within a continuous historical timeline. It connects the original emotional impact of Kennedy's legacy to a modern minting era, where coins became preserved collectibles rather than circulating currency. In the end, the 1998 Kennedy half dollar is a reminder that not all valuable stories are measured in money. Its significance lies in history, preservation, and design continuity, not in unrealistic promises of instant riches. Fourth up, the 2000 Kennedy half dollar often gets caught in dramatic internet stories claiming it could be worth millions, but the real truth is far more grounded in modern U.S. mint history. By the year 2000, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer a coin you would regularly see in daily transactions. Instead, it had already transitioned into a collector-oriented coin, mainly produced for mint sets and proof sets rather than circulation. This shift is very important because it changes how the coin should be understood. When a coin is made mostly for collectors, it is usually produced in controlled quantities and preserved better from the start. That means many 2000 Kennedy half dollars exist in high-quality condition today, which naturally reduces any possibility of extreme rarity. The design of the coin still carries the same powerful symbolism it has had since 1964. The portrait of President John F. Kennedy represents legacy, national memory, and a moment frozen in American history. Even in a modern year like 2000, the coin continues to serve as a tribute rather than a functional everyday currency piece. Most 2000 Kennedy half dollars were released through mint and proof sets, which means they were handled carefully and stored in protective packaging. This is why many examples still look nearly new today. However, nearly new does not automatically mean extremely valuable in the sense of life-changing wealth. The internet often exaggerates the value of modern coins by mixing rare historical treasures with common modern issues. The 2000 Kennedy half dollar belongs firmly in the modern category, where coins are tracked, documented, and produced in predictable numbers. That predictability is exactly what prevents extreme rarity. In rare cases, collectors may look for exceptional mint state grades or proof coins with near-perfect surfaces. These high-grade examples can be appealing to serious numismatists who build registry sets. However, even the finest examples still fall within realistic collector pricing rather than reaching million-dollar levels. There is also occasional interest in mint errors. Some 2000 Kennedy half dollars may show minor striking imperfections, misalignments, or unusual surface characteristics. These errors can increase curiosity and sometimes add moderate value, but they do not transform the coin into a hidden fortune. A major misunderstanding comes from the idea that any old or unused coin automatically becomes rare. In reality, rarity depends on survival rate, historical importance, and demand among collectors. The 2000 Kennedy half dollar was produced in sufficient numbers and preserved well enough that extreme scarcity simply does not exist. Professional grading companies play a key role in determining true market value. They examine coins carefully under magnification and assign grades based on condition and quality. Even when a 2000 Kennedy half dollar achieves a top grade score, its market value remains tied to collector demand, not speculative internet claims. If we compare it to truly valuable coins in the Kennedy series, the biggest values usually come from early silver issues or rare transitional mint errors. The 2000 issue, being modern and well documented, does not fall into that category of extreme numismatic rarity. Still, the coin has value in a different way. It represents the continuation of a long-running American coin series into the modern era, showing how the Kennedy half dollar evolved from a circulation coin into a collector's item. That historical continuity is what gives it meaning beyond its face value. The idea that a 2000 Kennedy half dollar could turn someone into a billionaire overnight is not supported by real numismatic records. While coin collecting can absolutely produce high-value discoveries in rare cases, those situations involve unique historical errors or extremely low mintage coins, not common modern releases. Instead of being a hidden treasure, the 2000 Kennedy half dollar is better understood as a preserved collectible from the modern mint era. Its value is stable, documented, and predictable, which makes it interesting to collectors but not a source of sudden extreme wealth. In the end, the true importance of the 2000 Kennedy half dollar lies in its place in history, not in exaggerated financial claims. It represents a continuation of American coinage tradition, a symbol of remembrance, and a collectible that belongs to enthusiasts, not a secret ticket to instant fortune. Fifth up, the 1993 Kennedy half dollar is often pulled into viral stories claiming it could turn into million-dollar treasure. But when we look at its real numismatic history, the truth is far more grounded. This coin belongs to the modern-clad era of U.S. coinage, where half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday circulation. Instead, they were mainly produced for collectors and mint sets, not for creating rare pocket change fortunes. By 1993, the Kennedy half dollar had already shifted away from its early silver legacy of the 1960s. The emotional tribute to President John F. Kennedy remained strong, but the coin itself had become more of a preserved collectible than a working currency. Millions were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, meaning the coin was never designed to be rare in production. In fact, production numbers were very high for this year, which immediately removes the idea of extreme scarcity. When something is made in the tens of millions, it becomes part of a stable collector market rather than a rare treasure category. That is why most 1993 Kennedy half dollars today are still worth close to face value, unless they are in exceptional condition. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof versions of the 1993 Kennedy half dollar, including a silver-proof edition aimed at collectors. These versions are more polished and visually attractive, sometimes containing silver content, but even these are well documented and not rare enough to reach fantasy-level prices. Their value is driven more by collector demand than hidden scarcity. What makes certain 1993 Kennedy half dollars slightly more interesting is condition. Coins that are graded in extremely high mint state levels, meaning they look almost perfect even under magnification, can attract stronger collector interest. In rare auction cases, top-grade examples have sold for over a few $1,000s, but that is still far from million-dollar territory. CoinValueChecker.com. The reason condition matters so much is because modern coins were often handled in bulk, even before reaching collectors. Finding a coin without scratches, contact marks, or dull surfaces is difficult, which is why grading services exist to measure quality precisely. Even then, value increases are gradual, not explosive. Mint errors do exist for 1993 Kennedy half dollars, such as double dies, die clashes, or striking misalignments. These mistakes happen during production and can make certain coins more desirable to collectors. However, even strong error examples usually stay within the hundreds or low thousands of dollars depending on visibility and demand, not life-changing wealth. A major misunderstanding in coin hype videos is the idea that any old coin automatically becomes rare over time. In reality, rarity depends on how many were made, how many survived, and how many collectors actively want them. The 1993 Kennedy half dollar fails the rarity test because both production and survival numbers are high. Another factor is that modern coin markets are heavily documented. Auction houses, grading companies, and price guides track these coins closely. That transparency prevents extreme hidden value from existing unnoticed. If a 1993 Kennedy half dollar were truly worth millions, it would already be a recorded headline in the numismatic world. The real historical value of this coin is not in sudden wealth, but in its place in the timeline of American currency. It represents a period when the Kennedy half dollar had transitioned fully into a collector-focused coin, no longer circulating widely in commerce, but still maintaining national symbolism. Collectors who build Kennedy half dollar sets often include 1993 coins for completeness rather than rarity. That tells you something important. Its value lies in participation in a series, not in exclusivity. It is part of a long chain of annual issues that tell the story of modern U.S. minting. So when people say a 1993 Kennedy half dollar could make someone a billionaire overnight, that idea belongs to internet myth rather than real market history. Real coin value grows through rarity, demand, and verified scarcity, not dramatic storytelling. In the end, The 1993 Kennedy half dollar is best understood as a well-preserved modern collectible with modest but stable value potential in top condition. Its true worth is historical continuity and collector appreciation, not hidden million-dollar surprise wealth waiting in everyday change.